All he has to do is go play basketball. A professional athlete is out of shape. Doesn't that seem oxymoronic?
And certainly there are individuals that were in phenomenal shape. There's certainly other ones that could have been in better shape. We have to get in championship shape.
Luka Doncic's weight has been a huge subject of controversy over the past year. As a matter of fact, Nico Harrison said the primary reason they traded Luka Doncic was because they weren't confident that Luka would be able to be a sustainable superstar to build around moving forward because he was fat, lazy, and had no commitment to defense, even famously saying this:
I don't think it's about agreeing, but he aligns with how I think in terms of defense wins championships.
As a result, Luka's weight has been criticized for years now, and it got so bad that he literally got traded from the team that he was the face of. But now it seems like everything is changing. He actually looks terrifying. And in the past, we made content like this before, primarily revolving around Zion Williamson. So in this video, we're gonna dive into whether or not this weight loss is actually for real. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop, like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to get the latest NBA news to your device. And now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. So for game 3 of the NBA Finals, Jalen Williams just needs 1 point for his square to hit. So I'm going to be running this four-man tonight to 5x our money. If you want to follow these picks, you could even play it for free to potentially tail this risk-free. All you have to do is use my promo code microphone, and when you make a play of $5 or more, they'll give you a free $50. On top of that, if you're a veteran and you want to get a little bit of an edge on your picks, I partnered with Fantasy Aces. We've been hitting on that Discord server each and every day. I'll leave a WAP link in the description down below if you guys want to join. And thank you, Prize Picks, for today's sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Very shortly after Luka Doncic got traded from the Dallas Mavericks and his conditioning was a subject of controversy, a clip of him went viral of him in his rookie year, showcasing a lightning quick first step, him looking incredibly slim. And as a matter of fact, this wasn't just exclusive to Luka's rookie year. Look at this photo from Doncic's second year in the NBA. He's deadlifting nearly 300 pounds, way more than I would ever attempt to do, but I guess that's because I'm terrified of slipping a disc in my back. But on top of deadlifting 300 pounds, Luka looks extremely slim doing it. But then in 2020, everything changed. After the NBA started their season in December due to the bubble, things started to get out of hand. During a preseason game against the Milwaukee Bucks, this photo of Doncic went viral. Today, this might actually seem like a normal photo of Luka. However, at the time, NBA fans were confused how Luka Doncic went from in basketball shape to overweight in the span of just a few months. In an unrecorded interview, Luka Doncic would say this: I mean, people on Twitter say everything, but it's true. I'm not in my best shape. I'll get there for sure, but you know, I've never been a muscular guy, so what can I say? But in the meantime, it didn't really matter how fat Luka Doncic was. Luka balled out, being named first team All-NBA for the second straight year. But then in 2021, things somehow got worse. Through the first 6 games of the season, Luka was terrible by Luka standards. Sure, he averaged over 22 points per game, but he was shooting just 43% from the field and an even worse 24% from 3. And this is when the narratives really started to be shaped.
He ain't got to do nothing else. He ain't got to box. A lot of guys box. A lot of guys swim. A lot of guys do other things. All he has to do is go play basketball, and he can get in shape. And he didn't even do that.
But then it happened once again. Luka was definitely overweight, but that didn't stop him from once again earning an All-NBA first team honor and finishing top 5 in MVP voting. And this would happen year after year. People would say Luka Doncic was fat and it was holding him back. However, on the court, things were a completely different story. Luka was pushing 250 pounds at times, but at the same time, he was dropping 50-point bombs nearly every week at this point. Luka was even getting comparisons to LeBron James, and I don't care how fat he is. If you're getting compared to LeBron James, you must be doing something right. Now, the comparisons weren't that far off. Luka Doncic's playstyle is pretty much LeBron James minus all of his athleticism, and you substitute that athleticism for some finesse and you get Luka Doncic. Over the course of the next few years, Luka would become one of the best players in the NBA while taking the Dallas Mavericks to heights that haven't been seen since the Dirk Nowitzki days. In fact, after the Dallas Mavericks earned a spot in the NBA Finals back in 2024, Luka Doncic decided to celebrate with an ice-cold beer. And who could blame him? The Mavericks had just beaten Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. He deserved to celebrate a little bit. However, a video went viral showing Michael Finley taking the beverage away from Doncic. Why? Because the Mavericks organization cares more about Doncic's weight than any media member in the world. To put things into perspective, according to The Athletic, make no mistake, the people who witnessed Doncic's last days in Dallas do not paint a flattering portrait of the 25-year-old's professionalism. They call him lazy. They talk about the weight issues that were such a frequent frustration within their walls. They mention the social habits that The Athletic has reported on, such as a taste for beer and hookah, which have been a point of concern for NBA types since he was a 19-year-old star for Real Madrid who is entering the NBA draft. They predicted his basketball demise, highlighting a health history that, as some see it, will likely lead to a catastrophe in the next 5 years or so. The Mavericks were so concerned about Luka Doncic's health that they granted him additional time to regain form, officially attributing his 5-game absence in November to a wrist injury. Even prior to this NBA Finals appearance, the Mavs organization always had issues with Doncic's weight fluctuation. But after the Mavs lost to the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals, the future was set in stone. The Mavs and Nico Harrison had officially decided to call it quits on Luka Doncic, especially after his slow start to the 2024-25 season. Despite this, when the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers, people were shocked, but not as shocked as when they found out that he was reportedly 270 pounds.
What people say that he's only 26. He has the body of a 40-year-old. So like when you've been in the league for 10 plus years, those are like dog years.
He's 26. Grow up, right? It's time to grow up. Stop being lazy about it. Take your craft seriously.
When the report came out that said he was 270 pounds, people went crazy. But let's be serious for a second. Was Luka Doncic overweight at the time of the trade? Absolutely. But was he 270 pounds? Take a look at this video of Luka Doncic directly after the trade and tell me he looks like he weighs 270 pounds. I know he's listed at 6'6" and is probably taller, but that man is absolutely not 270 pounds. In hindsight, it looks like the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic due to his constant weight and conditioning issues, and in order to justify it to their own fan base and NBA fans in general, they just lied about his weight. But after the trade, Luka and the Lakers were shockingly good, especially considering how flawed their roster was. Some Laker fans deemed the Lakers' latter part of the season as a huge failure because they got eliminated in the first round, but they finished as a 3rd seed in the Western Conference, and this is despite them not having any depth or front court to be competitive in the playoffs, which was exposed by the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round. And the one main takeaway for Laker fans after losing that series was that Luka Doncic's defense was terrible.
Why do you have to get humiliated at the beginning of every single playoff series before you show the world, like, yeah, I can actually put in a little bit more of an effort on defense? I'm going to be embarrassed until our backs are against the wall, and then I'm going to show you that, yeah, I can put up a little bit of a fight. How about you put up a fight in like game 1?
And this isn't new either. Doncic's defense has been criticized for years. He's been dubbed an all-offense, no-defense player, and people believe it's because of his weight. The argument is that he gets gassed so easily that he has to save his energy on defense in order to play offense at a high level. Even Lakers head coach JJ Redick thinks Luka needs to get in better shape.
The work that's required in an off season to be in championship shape, and you know, we have a ways to go as a roster, and certainly there are individuals that were in phenomenal shape. There's certainly other ones that could have been in better shape. That's where my mind goes immediately is you know, we have to get in championship shape.
But now, that's all about to change. There's a real chance Luka Doncic doesn't just get better defensively, but takes his game to an entirely new level. On LeBron James and Steve Nash's revived Mind the Game podcast, Luka Doncic was asked about the speed at which he plays basketball, and this was his response.
When you're saying you have no speed? Just don't show it.
Now, if Doncic said this 7 months ago, I probably wouldn't believe him, but after what we just saw from him, I have no option but to agree with Luka. Look at this video of Luka Doncic at a Real Madrid basketball game over in Europe. He looks much skinnier than when we last saw him with the Los Angeles Lakers. Take a look at this side-by-side of Luka in February and him right now. He seriously looks like he's lost 30 or 40 pounds, and this isn't entirely speculation either. According to Martin Pavnich, Doncic, now without basketball, dedicated himself to transforming his body in Ljubljana. Hubiliana? I'm so sorry. I definitely butchered the living hell out of that. Could someone tell me the right way to pronounce that in the comment section down below? I mean, no offense. But this includes both guided indoor conditioning and a modified diet. The first physical results are already very clearly visible. We even got a glimpse of what Luka Doncic's wife is making for him as she posted a photo of what fans are speculating is food a part of Luka's new diet. But why now? After 7 years in the NBA, the first 6.5 with Dallas where he was criticized for his conditioning, why is he now working on his weight and conditioning? What if I told you that the answer has more to do with Nico Harrison than anything else? According to Martin Pavnich, Luka is doing this as a sharp response, both due to the unfortunate past season, which was marked by a wide range of health problems and an unplanned move from Dallas, and to all the criticism. Basically, what I'm gathering from this inside report is that Luka Doncic took this personally. Luka Doncic is upset that Nico Harrison called him fat and traded him away because of his conditioning. So in response, he's going all out this offseason in order to get in shape and condition himself for the regular season. In a way, you could easily say that Luka Doncic is doing all this just to get revenge on Nico Harrison for trading him away from a franchise he wanted to spend the rest of his career with. But how will this affect Luka on the court? Will he become one of the best two-way players in the NBA, or will he just be the same old Luka on defense? There's never been a question about what Luka can do on offense. Fat or not, Luka Doncic is one of the best offensive players in the association right now. But what's holding him back has been his defense. Of course, losing weight and getting in better condition will help him defensively, but I don't think it will help as much as some people think.
I tell people, I don't care about his weight. You need to get him in the gym and teach him how to play defense.
Wait, you think that you could make Luka a good defensive player?
Yes, you can, because it's about wanting to. But he's never had to, because he's always had people behind him to erase his mistakes.
And I think Robert Horry is spot on here. Playing defense is more about guarding someone rather than just losing weight. It's more so about putting in the effort and learning how to play defense rather than being in shape. I mean, seriously, how many skinny or in shape players in the NBA don't know how to play elite defense? However, I do believe that Luka getting in shape will definitely improve his defense, just not as much as some people might think. If Luka can become an average to slightly above average defender, it'll be the first step for the Lakers to become contenders. Just imagine how differently the first round series against Minnesota would have been if Luka wasn't getting exposed constantly on defense, and if the Lakers had a real center. I mean, I tried to block this out of my memory, but I just simply can't. But there were literally games in that series where JJ Redick gave Jackson Hayes 0 minutes. I'm not saying giving Hayes minutes would have changed the outcome of those games, but having a viable center to give minutes might have. This offseason has the potential to take the Los Angeles Lakers and Luka Doncic both to the next level. If everything goes right, the Lakers could acquire a starting caliber center and get Luka to become a slightly above average defender. If that happens, I genuinely think the Lakers will become contenders, especially if the Lakers wanting to make Bronny James a key part of their rotation is false. But that's if everything goes right. Who knows? Maybe everything goes wrong. Maybe the Lakers make no offseason moves. Maybe Luka Doncic doesn't improve on defense at all. Anything is possible in this offseason. But I'd like to know what you guys think in the comment section down below, because we made a lot of content like this in the past, primarily around Ben Simmons and Zion Williamson. There have been instances where players lost weight and improved significantly for the regular season, but there have been instances where a player just puts out some positive offseason media to get the fan base excited and optimistic for the future. And I want to know in the comment section which one you guys think this is. Aside from that, I don't know if you guys heard, but Russell Westbrook's NBA career might be over. I'm going to leave a link to that in the end screen, and I'll meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.